How can it be cold but boiling at the same time?
Hello, welcome to Real United Talk. Tonight's news about Manchester United. We're joined by Pancars tonight. How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. Riggers,
Yeah.
mate. Strong as always, yeah. And new guest tonight, debut, Martin. Who's always in the comment. How you doing, Martin? You all right?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Good.
Right, Pancars, we're going to start with this Sergio Reguilon, if that's how you say it.
Yeah.
A lot of talk today about him coming to Manchester United, but the hold up is Real Madrid want a buyback clause in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
He's valued 23 million.
Yeah.
23-year-old left back, obviously from plays at Madrid, like I said.
Yeah.
Played 45 games in La Liga, scored 2 goals, 6 assists, 11 yellow cards in the last season. I think if he comes in a roundabout way, it's going to spell the end for Delo, because I think Reguilon will go at left back competition with Luke Shaw, and I think Brandon Williams is going to be debut for Wan-Bissaka. That's my idea. What do you think, mate? Is he worth the money? What do you know? Is he a good signing?
He's good. I'm not watching him a lot, but no, because I don't really watch La Liga, so honestly, but he played really well against us, and he looks good. He's really quick for what I've seen him against us, and he rinsed Wan-Bissaka, like on that side, totally rinsed him.
So I thought you said you rimmed him.
It's probably the same thing. No, but seriously, man, that guy is really quick, and the pass he played to I don't know who was the forward who scored that goal, but the pass he played to that, the pass he played to that attacker was, and the goal he scored as well was really good. So the pass was absolute spot on from the counter attack by Reguilon. He will be a signing where he'll put a lot of balls, he'll make a lot of assists, and and he'll put in a lot of crosses as well, in the box. That that's what we lack, because we don't see a lot from Luke Shaw. I still feel like Luke Shaw is a better experienced left back we have, and he's better than what we got at the moment. And I think Reguilon would be a good option, because I think he would challenge Luke Shaw for that position.
Would he be the starting left back for you at United? Pancars, would he be the starting left back?
It depends if Luke Shaw is fit. No, not right away. Maybe
not right away. Okay, right. Let's chuck Martin in then. The Virgin. Let's, what do you think, Martin?
If it was me, I'd take Tellez personally.
Okay, right.
I think if we get Reguilon, he'd be a backup. But I think if we got Tellez, I would put him ahead of Shaw at the moment.
Yeah.
What about you lot? Would you agree with that, or have you not seen him? Or
I'd play fucking anybody over Luke Shaw, if I'm completely honest. I don't rate him at all. I've said this before. I don't. He asked me, Pancadge.
Good.
No, I'm joking. I don't really rate Luke Shaw. I don't see what he offers. I don't think he's the best defensive for it. I don't think he's the best going forward. I find he does a lot of overlapping runs, but like I said before, he likes to come inside at the same time as the winger. So it kind of pointless, both people shifting in. So you've got nobody going on the outside, and when he does go on the outside, he cuts in, and he doesn't actually pick his pass. He almost does a Valencia. It's just bang straight across the box. So I don't think we're getting both. I don't think we're getting
Reguilon
and Tellez, but I'd take either one of them two over him.
Would you have a preference?
Would you, Alex Tellez? I mean,
Tellez
with him.
Yeah, me too.
You both go for him, Pancars. Then what do you think about this Tellez?
I mean, I have seen a few games, and he's really quick. He puts in crosses. and he puts in really good crosses. I've not seen that much from Reguilon because I've not seen a lot of him, but I think he's experienced. He's 27. We have a lot of young players at the squad. I mean, how many young players are we going to have? You need some experience as well. Some players who have the mentality. We need to win trophies. We need experienced players for that. Like you look at Real Madrid, you look at Bayern Munich, loads of experienced players. Like it's a mixture of experience and young players. Like Alfonso Davies is quite young at Bayern Munich, but why is he so good? Because he has experienced heads around him. He gets the confidence from experienced players, around him. You look at when Rooney came as a young kid, 18, 19, he was banging in goals for us because he had experienced players around him, Brian Giggs, all those kind of players. So you need players around, these kind of young players to make them develop.
The only thing I'll bring up about Telles, though, boys, is the fact that he's Brazilian. I don't have a decent history with Brazilian people, Brazilian players. So, Martin, would that be a problem for you or not?
For me, no, not at all. You've got to treat every player individually.
Yeah. I'm just, I just think United's history with Brazilians, they've not had very many, but the ones that they've had, I think have been pretty fucking woeful.
Yeah, I
don't know. Rafael da Silva, Fabio da Silva, Anderson.
Anderson wasn't that great, was he?
Mate, he's still got more Premier League medals than Steven Gerrard, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, that would be the only thing for me. United's history with Brazilian players, but
I'd say it's more Argentinians you want to stay away from.
Yeah. Oh,
Fred is decent.
I've just realised that came out as like really racist. That is not what I'm trying to like. I think I'm just saying when we look at like the likes of some of the players we've had, like Heinz, Tevez, Di Maria, doesn't paint a pretty picture, does it?
We're wrong. Yeah.
was all right, but the other three were pretty shit for us, weren't they?
Yeah. Right, let's move on then. Mason Greenwood's antics on international duty. First senior call up. Played against Iceland. I think it was Iceland first, wasn't it? Yeah. And then did something very, very naughty. Then he did trick because you know about that. You know about getting up to naughties, don't you?
When you stream,
don't say that. My fucking fiance's watching. You fucking asshole.
Do you think the punishment that dished out by Southgate was a bit harsh, or do you think it was? No, you think it was right? Yeah.
No, I think he's been an absolute fucking idiot for both points of view. I think he showed his selfish side, that the fact he's willing to break protocol and potentially bring in a virus. But I mean, I'm not saying we don't know whether these girls had the virus or whatever, but the fact you brought protocol, which could then lead to other players and other families potentially maybe catching something. Him and Foden. I'm not saying it because fucking one's a United player. I think Foden's just as bad. They're both fucking idiots. And I don't see the argument of going, oh, well, they're only 18, they're only young, or 19, 20. What you've done's wrong. If you commit murder at 18, nobody goes, oh, well, he's only 18. Fucking hell. You've gone against what you were told to do. You knew it was wrong. He's embarrassed. I think he's embarrassed himself, but he's embarrassed our club a little bit. The fact of the matter is, this is his first England call-up, and he's been sent home. And like I was saying to you last night on Skype, most kids in England who grow up to dream of playing for your clubs and that lot, but also you dream to play for your home nation. And the first opportunity he's got, he's fucked it up. So he might be one of those players. I mean, I can't see it being as harsh as Southgate's made out. But we've seen players that have been talented over the years with bad attitudes, and they've not been selected for England. And we've seen players with great attitudes, but shit ability not get out. You know what I mean? Yeah. England is a very funny one. If there's a reason to exclude you, they'll do it.
Yeah. Pankaj, what do you think of it? I mean, he's representing Manchester United. He's on international duty, so he's under the care of Southgate. But what I've read today, I mean, Solskjaer's had some pretty fucking hefty words with him on the phone, because he was supposed to be waiting until he come out of quarantine to have this chat with him, but it's not waited. Solskjaer's got on the phone, had a go at him. I suppose it's all about the reaction now, isn't it, from Ollie's point of view?
Yeah, I think what Ollie has done is absolutely right. As as a coach, and not just a coach because he's like a father figure to Greenwood, just more than coach because he guides him what he should do to keep his head down, and even protected Greenwood from the media so many times, not to hype up the kid so much. He's 18 and all. I mean, he's definitely done a mistake, but I mean, he's young and people make mistakes. He was just there to enjoy, because of his first England call up. But yeah, what he's done, he was wrong. He broke the quarantine rules. But if those rules were not there, I think there wasn't any problem. But he broke the rules. But I think he just wanted to enjoy, in my opinion. But yeah, he's done a mistake.
Mine? What do you think?
I think it's pretty shocking, mate, because that was like potentially his debut, and he got his debut. But surely, when you're in that environment, and I played football at semi-pro, even at 16, I wasn't on weekends if we was playing away in like Brighton or something. I wasn't thinking about girls for the weekend.
No.
So I thought it was pretty embarrassing on his part, like, for a bit of pride, really. I thought that. I know that he's good mates with Foden and they're probably planning a night out or whatever they're doing, but no, I don't think it's acceptable. And for him, everyone's saying that he's young, he's going to make mistakes. He's 18, he's not 13.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's acceptable at all. I think he let us all down. And I think Gareth Southgate's bottled it in both games, and he sort of put it all on Greenwood and Foden for the shit performances, and England were atrocious.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because Chris has just said here he hopes Greenwood is banned from the England squad for a year or two. England fans and media have always tried to scapegoat United players. I'll never forget how Beckham was vilified. Akil says it's pretty stupid to do it in your first England call-up, putting himself and teammates at risk during a pandemic. Hopefully he learns from it. Maybe took that number 11 shirt too seriously. And then Chris says also Southgate is a slime bag, tries to blame for England's failure the other night, which is then just coming to what you said there. I think I'm not sure if he's basically declared himself now because of the lockdown, because of the protocol situation with the virus being in quarantine. Does that mean now he is not available for selection next weekend?
Yeah, I think he's broke the protocol. He's brought the protocol bubble, so I think he would now have to self-isolate for 2 weeks.
Okay, right. Well, that's pretty much fucked.
Because basically, if they'd have all stayed together, then you would be able to say, chances are nothing's really come into contact. They've all been together, so therefore you don't need to self-isolate because you know who they've been with. You can trace who they've been with. You can trace who they've come into contact with. Okay. But the fact that you've let two Icelandic birds into your fucking flat, into your fucking room, it's kind of broke. It's kind of fucked all that up. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not being funny. They were tiny birds, but still, it's unacceptable.
I was trying to listen to what Boris was saying yesterday about this fucking household bubble and shit like that, and I'm thinking, how does that work with Mason? Is he unavailable for selection? Is he available for selection?
You were listening to fucking our Prime Minister talk about bubbles and stuff like that, and your first thing to go through in your head was Mason Greenwood.
That's exactly the first thought I had. Thought Mason, Crystal Palace. What happened?
Fucking hell.
That was the first thing I thought of. I just couldn't get my head around it, mate. I don't know what the fucking protocols are for the football at the minute with what's going on. Right, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
Now, this is particularly interesting because, again, I'm reading both sides of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Before we do that, Chris has just said here, as far as I recall, I think Greenwood was tested at the club this morning. I assume he will be back for training if he passed it. Okay, right. So then, therefore, then he wouldn't need to self-isolation if he passed.
Not necessarily. It depends what kind of test he had done. If it was a swab, then no, not necessarily. If it's a finger prick one, they're a lot more accurate. A swab can be inaccurate, and you can also have false negatives and false positives. And those are only most accurate when you're 3 days into your symptoms.
Right. Well, I think it was pretty fucking stupid of him. Totally agree with
Helps
you.
having a mum who's an NHS nurse.
Well, yeah.
I think he'll be all right, So let's see.
Well, so do you reckon then, Martin? Do you reckon after doing that, do you reckon Ollie picks him for the first game next week?
If it was me, I would, because from Greenwood's point of view, if he's a professional and if he's got the character that I think everyone thinks he has, this focus-driven young man that's just made a genuine mistake this time, I think he should start from my view, and I think Ollie will start him if he's available. And I think Greenwood would probably score as well. I think he would have a massive point to prove, and then from there, that whole fiasco will be forgotten.
Okay, fair enough. Diedrich, did you go into your squad Saturday?
At the minute, we kind of have to. If it was anybody, if this were the 08, 06, decent team that we were on side, you could probably drop him for a couple of days and let the heat kind of lie down. Then put somebody else in there, but you can't really. You need to play strongest 11 at the minute. We can't really carry anybody. Otherwise, you'd have to play Dan James ahead of him. But if he does, and he has a mare, it's unnecessarily heat pressure. And then it'll look even worse, because if Ollie was to drop Mason Greenwood and Dan James played and he had a mare, and we lost that game, it'd be double the pressure, because it'd be Mason Greenwood has now cost his fucking club as well as his thingy because of the antics he did when he was away, if that makes any sense.
This is the thing, isn't it, Pancard? I mean, I think Ollie's got a big division here, because I think the press are going to fucking hound Ollie. Whether he picks him or not, they're going to... Yeah. You can guarantee, mate, Mason will be the talk of next weekend's papers, whether he's in that squad or not. So Ollie's pretty much in a catch-22 here, isn't he? If he picks him, you'll have the fucking PC brigade on his back because of the virus and all that shit. If he don't pick him, the sports media will turn around and say, well, you've not picked him and he's probably one of your first names on the team sheet. What's going on? They'll make a meal out of it no matter what. So what would you do?
Oh, I would pick him, because look, every player they do make mistakes, because you look at Grealish, that incident, what he did during lockdown, that was worse than this, So drunk drive and party and all those things. And he's the captain of Villa, doing that. So players, they do make mistakes, and I think this is his first mistake which he has done. I think he will learn from it, because he's just 18, and because Rooney has done things like that. I mean, stuff before in his career, So players have done that. It's not like a new thing. So
I know what you're saying, Pancaj, but Rooney weren't trying to do it Rooney weren't doing it to old ladies during a pandemic. That's what you've got. If this was any other time, then it'd be a bad thing, but it wouldn't be as bad. It's because of COVID knocking about that it makes it like 3 times as bad.
But if you look at it, people in general are very irresponsible during this COVID and pandemic. So it shouldn't be a big deal out of this. I know he's a player, and he's a professional. He should take responsibility. He's taking responsibility as well. He apologized, which he had to do anyway. But I think as long as he's delivering on the pitch and he just has his focus on the game, I think Ollie will explain to him what he have come here to do and all those things. So I think it's first mistake, and everyone deserves a chance. So a second chance. So,
Joe Munro's just turned up. Welcome, Joe. Hope you're doing good. He says Gene Simmons, the legendary Kiss bass player.
Gene Simmons, he had a massive tongue, didn't he? He used to be like that.
Apparently, he's tweeted about Sancho to United, because he supports United.
Yeah, I went just having a breakdown there, Pancaj. You didn't just randomly do it. I know.
Chris says he'd assume Ollie will pick Greenwood. I think Ollie will have his back. Greenwood is getting all the crap in the media, even though it's Foden who brought the girls around. Just like when Fergie picked Beckham, stand by our players and fuck England. Akhil says Greenwood will start if Rashford is not fit. Totally forgot about that, actually. If he doesn't start and we lose, then it'll look so bad and we can't afford a bad start to the season. Chris says he made a mistake and he has taken more than enough shit. He knows he messed up. No constant punishment. Where does it end? I would back him, and so should Ollie. Mate, I think that's a great comment, mate.
Yeah.
What if we do sign Sancho and Greenwood doesn't play, and we start Martial, Rashford, and Sancho?
Right, well, don't jump the
Even
gun.
if we did sign Sancho, though, he'd have to quarantine. He wouldn't be able to play. If we signed him tomorrow, he wouldn't be able to play against Palace. He'd have to wait 2 weeks.
I don't know.
Right, so let's get into Sancho then.
Yeah.
Because today, what was it? It was yesterday. It was quoted, that a source, right? I'm going to say that a source, right? Fucking close to the Sancho deal, apparently, says that United have made a breakthrough by agreeing the agent fee and the personal terms, right? But some twat on Twitter who thinks he's king shit says that Sancho was on the plane Monday, right?
So it's the same one that blocked me.
Yeah, right. So it's now Thursday, right? How long does it take to get a plane from fucking Germany to Manchester for a start? It don't take 3 days.
Gone the wrong way.
Well, he might have.
Or he might.
He might have. But today at 1:32, there was an article that said United remain keen on signing him, but they're prepared to walk away because they're running out of time for the start of the season, and they want someone in. Right. So, United are still not prepared to pay this money, £108 million. Michael Zorc, he's saying again, he said today, the 20-year-old winger will not be allowed to be sold in this window. They're sticking to their guns unless United pay the money. I think this will fucking crack on until the last day of the transfer, the last hour. Martin, where do you stand on this? Because, we know what the fuck is going on here. What do you know about it?
Nothing other than the general public, but I do look at so many different opinions throughout the day because I'm doing pretty much fuck all at the moment. I think it'll be done within the next 2 weeks, just judging by everything that I've read and seen.
Okay.
But I don't know nothing. But that's my inkling, that's my feeling. I've watched on a daily basis, and I know it's not something to go off. I look at the bookmakers' odds across different companies every day, fluctuating with this transfer.
Yeah.
And you can see him at the moment. It's going very much like Harry Maguire's odds did. And it's almost like they've gotten in the know with, I don't know, Ed Woodward or someone important. And they're just gradually shortening the odds at the moment. And I think that's a good sign that it's progressing.
So ultimately, you're watching the odds from the bookmakers
every day.
and you're going by that. Then you're going by the price.
Not just that. I'm going on
what you're reading and everything like that.
Yeah. Tabloids, journalists, what players are saying. I don't think there would be public. Like Rashford months ago was making statements on. It was either Instagram or Twitter.
Okay, right, fair enough. Right, just says there are so many conflicting reports, it's near impossible to know what's going on. It's just a matter of who you believe. I think I trust Romano over other reports. I feel we will eventually sign him. Pankaj,
you're
a lover of Sancho, aren't you? I mean, you're a great believer. He's going to come. You still thinking like that, or what?
Look, the deal may happen or may not happen. It's a 50-50 situation. But what I see a pattern is, I remember with the Bruno deal when news came that we have now sorted the agent piece, and it was the first step towards completing the deal, and then we went on agreeing the deal with the club. So what United is what how they do the deals is kind of different from other clubs. Even the one the big deal, right? It wasn't like they first talk to the club. They first contact the agent. They sort out the fees of the player, the wages, and then they go on to see if the club would accept the offer that they're going to pay. And obviously, there was a mutual agreement between the club, Ajax and United, to agree the 40 million euros which they're going to pay. And they first know if the club are going to accept the offer, then they go for the bid. So with Dortmund here is, if United put in an offer, they obviously, if they put a high offer right now, then I think the deal will be done, because they obviously know that Dortmund would accept, because they would get a green signal kind of thing from Dortmund, from the owner. So yeah, if they put in another bid, then I'm confident it will happen. But it depends. If they don't put any bid, it's not going to happen. Clear.
Okay. Diedrich,
Yeah.
what do you think? Everything that's gone on, everything that's been read, all these, tracks on Twitter, I think they know something and they don't. What do you think? What are you believing?
I believe it's. I've said I've said the whole time. I think it is going to happen. I think it's just a case of we'd all rather it be sooner rather than later. But I think there's too much smoke. There's no, as I said, there's no smoke without fire, and there's too many times this has gone public. There's very, very rare, apart from I can only think of the David Moyes era, when United have tended to go public about wanting a player and they haven't gone on to actually get that player. Or it happened with Haaland and Jude Bellingham. But apart from that, you can't really think of many other things. Once you kind of let the public know and you get a transfer saga like this, I think if you don't end up getting that player, it looks really bad on you. I mean, we now live in a bit of an era where us as fans are kind of bothered about transfer fees. It's like everyone was saying, oh, what an amazing piece of business at 45 million it was for Bruno Fernandes. Me personally, I couldn't give a fuck whether we spent 200 million on him or whether we spent $1 million on him. It's not my money. It's not going to benefit me in any way, shape, or form. So this is why when things like this happen, it really does frustrate me. If he gets Jadon Sancho for 10 million less, but it's took him this long to do it, I will not be one of the people that goes, what a bargain, what a massive stroke by Woodward. I really do not care. I want the players to be signed, sealed, and delivered as soon as possible. And I think the longer you drag out a transfer, the more it sucks the life out of it. I've said that from the beginning. If we sign Sancho now, in the next 2 weeks, fair enough, it'll have a bit of a buzz about it, a bit of excitement. But it'll be nowhere near as exciting as it would have been a month or two ago. When the hype was knocking around it, I was thinking, God, we might actually do this. And that, if you remember, that whole week when everything was breaking, everything was going smoothly, and then all of a sudden it's just stopped. It was like the Wan-Bissaka thing. That took like 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can actually make a deal last so long. It really, and then you look at the likes of Chelsea. Chelsea have fucking signed like 4 or 5 players in the time it took us to sign one. And we only signed that one player because we have a good agreement with it. Sorry, love?
They had a transfer ban.
Oh,
Sorry, love.
It's because yeah, exactly. Chelsea had a transfer ban for the last 2 seasons, and they still managed to outdo us. In fact, I think Newcastle, where I live at the minute, I think they've actually spent the same amount of money as we have now. If they sign Jamal Lewis, I think they're literally like 5 million or on the same spend as us, and they've got more than one player.
Does it not bother anyone that, like what Martin said, if he signs within the next 2 weeks, right, he's 2 weeks isolation. That's a month, right? So you're talking, we ain't going to see him until what, 2nd week of October?
No.
That's over fucking 3 months, mate. Chasing.
Well, if we sign him on 6th of October, if we sign him on the 6th of October, we're not seeing him fucking until, like you said, we're not seeing him until about a week till. Well, there'll be a week left of October. It's strange times. We can't really judge it, can we?
Well, go on, Pancars. What did you want to say?
No, I mean, look, like at the end of the day, if the Sancho deal doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. I mean, fans are so like, oh, we really need to get him and stuff like that. But I mean, it's if even if you get him, it's a risk, like 120 million. Come on, like because you have to be fair, like because you signed Maguire for 80 million, right? We really needed a centre back. I know that at that point of time, and we really need a right winger as well. But you know, Maguire was like, it was 80 million, obviously, there was pressure on him. So imagine Sancho coming from a different league, the amount of pressure he would come in with, with 120 million price tag. And, it's going to be a pressure situation. And it's not the end of the world if you don't get him. There are other players around there. It's not the end of the world, is it? Like,
you see, that's where I disagree, Pankaj, mate, because I don't think we've got time to line up an alternative.
Well, hang on a minute. Hold that thought there, Diedrich, right? Because Chris said, I think he's talking to you actually, spot on. The hype is taken out of it. I want Sancho, but I won't be excited if we do now. It's just been an exhausting drama. I could accept Sancho being signed in October. We were doing other transfer business, but we've done fuck all, both ins and outs transfer-wise. So now, Diedrich, you talk about an alternative, right? And then, Martin, you have a think about an alternative just in case this don't go through.
Yeah.
Right. So, Diedrich, carry on what you're saying then, Pankaj.
I was just saying, I don't think we've got enough time to line up an alternative unless it's a loan deal. And even then, the quality, the caliber of player that you can get on loan isn't always the best. I like everyone will argue will be point to Kingsley Coman, but I generally don't think that loan is there to be done.
If you look at Kingsley Coman, go on.
Yeah, go on, Pankaj, go on.
If you look at Kingsley Coman, is better than what we have on the right wing.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think he's available. I don't think Bayern will loan him out.
Yeah.
But if they do loan him out, then you would consider, because
if it was that or nothing, then you'd have to.
Yeah.
Well, Akil says here, this is a point towards you, Diedrich. Was it worth signing Bruno for less in January, considering how good he was? I think if we had signed him in the summer, we could have finished second. Sancho been integrated with the squad by now. If we had signed him by paying that extra 10 million last month, and Chris says Kobe going nowhere, why would Bayern agree to that? So with that in mind then, Martin, Sancho doesn't go through because Ed's arguing over fucking 10, 15 million. Who do you go for then as a replacement? That not only will get the fans back on side, but who's going to be decent enough to go on that right wing.
Yeah, I think the fans thing, it's lose-lose, I think, if you don't get Sancho. Yeah, in the short term, I think it's going to be uproar. Unless they subsidise the Sancho loss with two quality players. If they didn't get Sancho and then they went and got... Well, they'd definitely have to go and get a striker and a right winger, I think, if they didn't get Sancho. I would straight away go for Traore, personally.
Adama?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I'm the only one that's fucking backing him at the minute.
Me personally.
I think he's quality. It's just I think it probably cost us about 80 million.
I don't fancy him. I don't know why.
No, it's fair enough. I understand. It's last year. It's the development last year that, because I used to watch him when he was at Middlesbrough and he was shit. He still had the pace then, obviously, but he couldn't play football really.
A lot since then, mate, and he's got a lot more better, technical, stronger.
And people talk about stats, and there was one yesterday, and I think he was the most influential winger with regards to cross percentage that ended up in goals in Europe.
Right.
Which I think, you can't get a better winger than that, can you? And he's playing in a very defensive side. But
you know what I feel like? Apart from the pace, I don't get what he brings really, because he puts in and he has the pace to run, he smashes in goals. But what Sancho would bring, he can't bring the extra thing, like to make something happen, because Sancho he makes the dribble, the skills he provides in box and all those things, something special out of nowhere. I don't think so. Like,
so you just said there, mate. What's he got apart from banging in goals and pace? Mate, that's all I'm fucking looking at from a winger, to be honest.
He's got a tremendous goalkeeping skill.
Yeah, I mean, he drives at your fucking left back or right back, whichever side he's playing. He pushes them back. He ain't getting pushed off the ball. You know, he's built like a fucking Sherman tank. And
Can you think how devastating he would be? Like, you look at when we beat City 2-0 at home. Can you imagine how good he would be playing as part? Because against the big teams now, we play 5-2-3 with a striker and the two wingers counter-attacking. Can you imagine him on the right with him and Martial and Rashford on a counter-attack? Well, it's just a massive, massive upgrade on Dan James, in my opinion. I think it'd be awesome.
Well, Chris says Traore will cost 80 million plus.
Yeah, he probably would be. Yeah.
If we pull out a Sancho deal,
and that's the funny thing. If we'd have got him when he come out of fucking Middlesbrough, it probably cost about 2 million. Or if we'd have got him from Barcelona, his first club, it probably cost about fucking 5.
Yeah. Well, I reckon Nuno's up for selling him, isn't he?
No, Jorge Mendes is after selling him.
All right. Mendes is up for selling him. I think United could nip him, mate, for about 70 million max.
I do. They want, apparently, and they are linked quite strongly with him, is Delo. Can you not do a deal there?
Yeah. Good
Portuguese player playing for Wolves? Really?
Swap Delo for Traore.
Akil says United can't go back on the Sancho deal simply because there are no logical alternatives available. If we have to pay 70-80 mil for Traore, I would rather have Sancho for 120. But again, looking at it from a business point of view, Martin, if Woodward's saving 50 million, fucking happy days, isn't it, for the Glazers as far as they're concerned?
Yeah, they're shocking.
Right. That's why I fucking hate them.
Yeah. Whether we think it's good or not, it's their first priority is the money. I see a lot of that money going into the NFL at the minute.
To be honest, Mark,
I think their NFL team signed Tom Brady. Sorry, Pankaj.
Yeah, go on, Pankaj.
Yeah, what I was saying is that the board, in terms of getting the main targets, I think the board has changed its approach. I don't trust the board still, but in terms of the approach, in comparison to recent times, they have changed it a bit because Bruno, we eventually got Bruno. I know there was a bit of delay in the summer. We couldn't get him this summer, but we got him in January. And for Maguire, we got him, just before the transfer window was over, just before the season was actually resumed. So I think we are going to do this deal, because it's been so much about Sancho, and there's so much noise. It can't backfire because the British media have come out and said it, like, there's breakthrough. Like, I mean, if they didn't come out and say it, then I think United are confident about this. That's why they briefed the media about this. To be honest. So
right, before we finish up,
I don't know.
Did anyone see the video today of Van der Beek in training?
I haven't seen it yet. I got the notification.
Yeah, right. Diedrich, did you see it?
Nah, man, I had a nap.
Wait. I'd advise everyone to have a look at it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. All right, it's only a few minutes, but he looks quick. He's got some fucking dribbling about him. Great control. There was a long ball pass to him from out on the right-hand side, and brought it down on the chest, mate. Trapped it under his foot. Fucking quality. I think if that's what they've got, that sort of ball playing midfielder for 45 million. I think it's great. I think it's absolutely.
I think a good comparison with Van der Beek is, I think Bruno and Pogba, they've both got that sort of, not languid, but they're quite expansive players. And if you compare them to Wolves, I would compare them to Neves. And then I would compare in that comparison, I would say Van der Beek is like Moutinho. Okay. He's quite a controlling, sort of does all the dirty work. He just gets things ticking constant. Scholes used to do it.
All action, isn't it?
Keep ticking, yeah. There's nothing special, but it's just constantly making things work, and you do need
You know,
players like that. And we
you know
haven't
what
got
I
any
feel
at the
about him?
moment.
Cog in the gear room.
That's it. Yeah, cog in the wheel. Yeah.
You know what I feel about this player? I think he's a mixture of Scholes and Lampard. I don't know
Fucking
how
hell.
best, but in my opinion, because not in that sense. I'm not saying he's better than Lampard or what he did,
Yeah.
but in terms of going in the box, running in the box, scoring goals in the box. Because he always wants to go in the box and he scores a lot of goals in the box. We've
Yeah,
seen
I
that for
saw
Ajax,
that.
we've seen in the Champions League. So
Yeah.
he's that
His
kind of.
timing, from what I've heard, his timing is fucking impeccable. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
His late runs into the box, mate, are phenomenal. The way he
I
reads
can't
the
wait to
game.
see him run into box with his signature thing. Apparently, we might have another do you remember how Phil Jones is known for giving you the fucking well, Van de Beek amongst Ajax fans is known for going. He always does. If you look at all his goals, he's got his tongue out like.
We need to send him back then.
Right, let's call it a halt there then. We've done 40 minutes. So, cheers for coming on, Martin. Pleasure to have you. Hope you come on again. You enjoyed
Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. Pleasure. Pankaj, all the way from India. What is it, 3 a.m.? 2 a.m.?
No, it's 2 a.m. Yeah.
2 a.m., is it? Right, you can get yourself to bed. Diedrich, mate, I'm expecting to see Toshiba in a minute.
Nah, not tonight, mate. I want to spend some time with Mrs.
All right. Okay.
I've got a family. Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go on.
Are you streaming it?
Nah, not tonight. Mate. Mark's streaming it. Wait a minute. I've just clicked onto what you said, you sick fuck. Oh, man. I hope you come on again, Martin. I just hope you don't wear that turtleneck again.
Sorry, mate. It's getting cold now. I've got to wear it.
The thing is, what everyone don't know is actually bollock naked from the waist down.
Well, yeah, you know that, but no one else does.
Mate, I came home, mate, got straight in my fucking jumper bottoms, man. I was free.
Oh, man.
I had my shorts on.
I'm surprised Mark, I'm surprised. I'm a bit upset that Mark didn't come on. I was expecting him to let us know about his experience he had during lockdown.
What was that then?
Oh, he went for a pint with somebody, didn't he? And wrote a quiz for him.
Oh, Pankaj has gone. Bye, Pankaj. Yeah, cheers for that. He went for a pint. Right, you what? Pint with who?
I can't say, mate. It's not from my place to say.
You'll break his heart.
I'll let him break that news.
Yeah.
I think he's releasing. I think Netflix have got in contact with him, haven't they, for a 3-part series? My lockdown experience.
Love lockdown.
Akil says the transfer approach has changed because Ollie has more control over transfers. The board is backing him because the players we sign are all having high resale value and are young. That's a good point. Chris says, apart from Sancho, we need to buy players for other positions too. If we want to play out of the back, I feel we need better players technically, especially in a holding midfielder. We don't have that player.
Oh, definitely. You mentioned it a minute ago, Martin. Ruben Neves. Can you imagine Ruben Neves in that midfield with Pogba, Bruno, and Donny Van de Beek? Oh,
I think we just need one more. You don't have to go mad. It doesn't have to be Thiago, but even if you can get someone like a Kante for a few years, do you know, just someone of quality while McTominay and Fred get a grip of themselves, because Fred's staying now.
I was just going to say the obvious one's Partey, isn't it?
Yeah, 50 million. It's not like he's not willing. It's not like they're not willing to sell. They're saying to Arsenal every other day, "Give us the 50 million for fuck's sake. Just give us the money. You can have him."
He's brilliant.
Show us the money, is what they're saying.
And that's not a lot for a player of that ability.
Do you have any money, Arsenal? No, we don't.
We want to spend all your money.
Right, cheers for coming on then, boys. Thanks to everyone for watching. Probably do another show. Well, we'll do another one on Sunday and have a look and see what happened in the Premier League over the weekend, since it's kick-off.
Do you know that on Saturday, United are playing Villa in a friendly?
Oh,
yeah, I saw the notification today. It's on MUTV. I haven't got it, but I'll try and find a stream somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, so United are actually they're playing a friendly. I think it's at 5:30, but I'm not sure on the time.
That's
Oh,
probably
that'd be
what they were
interesting.
advertising it on Twitter then.
Yeah, that's where I saw it, I think.
Right, okay, got to go then. Cheers,
Can I
lads.
interject before you go?
Oh, go on then.
Go on. This is just a bit of research, really. If we were to do like a podcast, maybe once a week, so I'm asking the viewers on this one, would anybody actually be interested in watching it?
Podcast.
I would.
We were
Martin,
talking about it last night, remember?
Yeah, mate.
Right.
I'd love to do it, but it depends if people want to see it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Right.
Or
well,
hear it.
there you go. If you want a podcast, it could be in the works if you lot want to watch it or listen to it.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments after the videos. If you know podcasts or anything like that, any ideas, just let us know. All right. Thanks, guys. Speak to you all later.
Cheers, mate. See ya.